Hey guys, MTU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series Avengers 60 Years of Earth's Mightiest. This is the 60th anniversary of Avengers Beyond Earth's Mightiest 2-pack of Thor versus Marvel's Destroyer. And this is a pretty good one. We've actually seen this Thor figure a couple of times. This is, I think, our third time now. We had the 80th anniversary Thor figure, then we had the Ragnarok Target exclusive deluxe figure, and here now we have the Eric Masterson Thor figure to be used as a third time. And this one is pretty good. It's not going to be necessarily any better than the previous ones that we've gotten, but the head sculpts on this one is pretty good. The helmet is pretty good as well. And we get the Destroyer, which is pretty cool because it is a pretty good one. It is a big, beefy one that came out pretty nice, and it's got, I don't know if you'd call it paint, but it's got like a wash throughout the whole thing to kind of give it a little bit of a dirty look, which is kind of a nice touch because I was not initially expecting that. So that is kind of cool. So we get some accessories, right? We obviously get Mjolnir. We get one extra hand for Thor because all of these Thor figures always came with one extra damn hand. Even the Ragnarok figure got shorted one hand. Like originally it was going to have an extra hand, but then when it released, it was like, nah, you ain't getting that hand. So we just get an extra fist for the left. So he's only ever going to be able to hold Mjolnir in his right. And you just have the grip hand for the right, and that is it. Eric Masterson Thor, we get two head sculpts, one with just the helmet, and then one with the helmet and a faceplate. They both look really good. I like the feathers on both of them, but I'm just now realizing like this one has the feathers are all white. On that one, there is some silver to it, so that's kind of interesting. And then the Destroyer itself gets an extra set of hands. So out of the package, he's got both fists going on, and then the left we have this open hand, and then the right we have a grip hand to grip nothing unless he can grip Mjolnir, but I feel like the Destroyer probably would not be worthy. Maybe I'm wrong on that. So there we go. So looking at the package, we see, Thor versus the Destroyer there, all the typical stuff we see with this line, the Avengers Earth's Mightiest logo, the 60 years up there at the top, the artwork for Thor and Destroyer there, and then they tried to like recreate that with the two 3D renders of the figures, and then here the breakdown of everything that it comes with, which we've talked about. So let's go ahead and get in for a closer look. Let's take a look at Thor first. Okay, so here we have the closer look at the Eric Masterson Thor. I really like the added silver paint along the feathers. I think that actually looks really good. They did do it on the inside as well, so how about that? But the head sculpt I think looks really, really good. The beard came out nice. There's a little bit of a wash or something in there to kind of bring out the details, so it's not just this like flat yellow color. We also get the same thing going on in his hair, which is nice, helps bring out the texture details of it. But the Thor figure itself, again, we've seen a couple of times. I did not bring out the Ragnarok figure, but I did bring out the Thor figure. So as you can see, oh, you know what? I guess there is a difference to it that I didn't notice before. The boots are different. We don't get the wrapped boots. We get kind of these armored boots here. I didn't realize that ahead of time, but those are new. The feet themselves are the same, but the lower legs from the knee on down are new on this figure. Does he have? He does have cap swivel in there. The rest of the figure is new, minus these discs. So I wonder if these discs are were glued on, or they just retooled slightly to not have those two discs right there. So that is a difference. And then obviously the paint is different because of how the suit was. They painted in skin tone over black plastic, which ends up looking kind of like crap. So that's kind of unfortunate there. I mean, they could have done flesh tone and painted the black, I guess, but unfortunately that's kind of the look that we got there. But the cape is the same. No wash or shading on the cape like we did get before though. So there's a bit of a difference. But the arms, the legs, the upper legs, the torso are the same. We just get the different head sculpts. So a much better proportioned head for the Eric Masterson Thor figure. So we have that going on there. So we'll take a look at the other head sculpt as well. But this one, again, looks really good. We're going to grab that, pop that off, and we're going to put the matte faceplate mask version. It's poking my finger. There we go. And that looks really good as well. He's just got whited out eyes, but essentially going to be the same. Like the hair is a little bit different, as you could see. You know, slightly different hair. You don't have that other piece there. And then the feathers, again, you don't get the silver paint added in there. And it is slightly different sculpt of those feathers as well. So it's not the exact same, but there is no silver paint on there. Again, it just has also that face mask on there. And that looks pretty good. And then, of course, we have Thor. It says, whoever holds this hammer, if he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor. That is pretty good there. So that's it for the Eric Masterson Thor, if we can get focus there. And let's go ahead and check out the Destroyer now. Okay, the Destroyer is a big one. He is a tall one, but looking at the head sculpt, looks pretty good. Just have whited out eyes. There's a wash throughout the whole figure that kind of fills in some of the panel lining. There's no paint on this figure. Those are air quotes. I know I'm zoomed in. You can't see. There's no paint. But again, throughout the whole figure, there's a little bit of a wash to it. It's very, very subtle. But I'm going to try and get in best to show you guys. And I think the best place to see that is right here on the torso. I don't know how well that comes off on camera. So if you look right in this area, you see a little bit of that, like, tannish brown color. It almost has like a tarnished look to it. So think of like silver, right? Silver can get tarnished. You have to polish it. You have to clean it. That's kind of the look that this is reminding me of. And again, it's very subtle throughout the whole figure. So, you know, you would think you would just get like this full-on silver color, but again, it has a tarnished look. Here on this shoulder pad, you could probably see it quite a bit, or like around the rivets there. It's kind of throughout the whole figure. Not really so much on the back though. Like maybe a little bit here in the upper torso, but the lower part, I'm not really seeing it. In the back of the legs, not really. If anything, there might be like a spot right there just above his right knee. But like on the sides, you could really notice it on the sides, and then throughout the front you can as well. But let's zoom out a little bit, and I can't even get this whole damn thing in frame. This guy is huge. But, you know, pretty good. The sculpt of it itself, you know, there's not a huge amount to it, but we get a lot of panel lining. We get some rivets and some spikes and things along the side, and those are a little pokey. You don't want to grab it by the side and squeeze it too much, but all looks really good. The feet. Yeah, sculpted really nice. Not a huge amount to it or anything, but it is nice. There's a little bit of heft to it, but, you know, I think the torso obviously is going to be hollowed out. So it's not like crazy heavy or anything. We've had much heavier figures, but he definitely is a beefy one. Okay, so we're going to go over the articulation. We'll actually take a look at Thor first. So I wanted to make sure I could zoom out so I have that I could fit, you know, the Destroyer and stuff on, you know, in frame. Thor can look down that much because of his hair and stuff. He's not going to be able to look up, which is a little unfortunate. You can get some swivel in there, but then the hair like hits the two sides of the cape. So if you kind of make him look down, you could turn his head a little bit. So just a heads up on that. The shoulder you can get to go straight on out like so. You can do a full rotation, but keep in mind, like, you got a lot of things working against it. These big ass flared out shoulder pads, and then the cape. You have an upper bicep swivel in there, double jointed elbow. There are pins because it is reused. The pins are the skin tone flesh color, so it's not as bad, but there are huge indentations on those arms because they're very thick compared to where the pins are. So it does stand out a little bit more than just matching the color, so that's a little unfortunate. Pinless would have been nice, but, you know, I'm okay with it. Again, the color matches, so at the end of the day, it's completely fine. Wrists swivel and they hinge, so you have the open hand, which has the standard horizontal hinge. The gripping hand for Mjolnir does, however, have a vertical hinge on there, and I'm just now noticing this, and I don't know if I noticed this before, but this is ugly as hell. Looking at the inside of that hand, look how it's sculpted in there. Like they had to cut out portion of that palm so you can actually grip something in there so there could be space. Did I notice that before? No, because that is a different hand than what we've gotten before. Why is that? That's interesting. I wonder why that is. That's really strange. Why would they redo the hand to look like that? That is strange. Very, very odd. Oh, and I just realized the wristbands are opposite color. You know, Thor's is black with some red. This Eric Masterson's is red with some black. Weird. Don't know why they sculpted the hand like that. Let's zoom back out. So there's the articulation, but the wielding hand does have the vertical hand to wield Mjolnir the hammer. So that is good that they did that. We got a diaphragm cut on Thor, so he could tilt to his left that much. He could tilt to his right that much there, which is pretty good. He can go back a little bit, but you know, the cape does kind of hinder some of that and block that in some ways. And then coming forward is a little bit, as you can see there. It's not a huge amount, but you know, he can do it. There is a waist swivel, and you can swivel at that diaphragm cut, but I am worried about some paint rub because again, the paint is pretty ugly. Like, you know, they painted the flesh tone, so then you could kind of see the black underneath. It would have been nice to get some paint right at the bottom of there. I don't know that it was ever going to be perfect. And then we get some sloppy line work on the paint, so it's just kind of tough. The black, you know, bleeds through. So a little unfortunate there. We do have a waist swivel in there. Legs go out that far apart, which is pretty good. He can't kick forward really high, which is great. Doesn't really go back. You got an upper thigh cut in there. A double jointed pinned knee, that much bend there at the knee. There is a calf swivel, so right at the middle of the calf you get that swivel there. Foot hinges all the way down. You get some hinge up, ankle pivot, pegals at the bottom of the feet. So that is Thor, so pretty good. What we expect, weird right hand for Mjolnir. Here, the Destroyer, I gotta like reach back. The camera's pushed back, and I'm like stretching out till we could do this. The head, it looks to be on a dumbbell joint, so he's only going to look up that much. He's going to look down that much, and he should always be looking down to anybody for the most part, right? The arm you can get to go straight on out. The shoulder pad, you know, is flexible enough that it moves with that arm, which is pretty good. Full rotation in there, and again, the shoulder pad is like keyed into the shoulder, so it can actually move with it, which is great. We got an upper bicep swivel in there. Single jointed elbow, so usually with that, we get a swivel at the elbow, and then with the bend, you get just under 90 degrees, I would say. Wrist swivel, and they hinge. They all have the standard horizontal hinge on the open hand, on the grip hand, and on the fist. Standard horizontal hinge. The Destroyer also has a diaphragm cut on him, so we could see. Look at that. Wow, that's a hell of a tilt to the left there. I thought the spikes would get in the way, but it looks like it just kind of goes right on over him there. So that's nice. So going right, he can go that much. So hey, that is pretty good. Let's see, back. Fair amount back, not too bad. If you push that anymore, you're going to see the gap inside there, so it's not too bad. Coming forward, hey, you know what? Not too bad. Not too bad. More than we get on a lot of other figures. You get swivel at that diaphragm as well. Legs go out that far apart, not too shabby at all. He can kick forward that far, not bad. The leg does go back quite a bit, actually. We have a upper thigh cut there, which is pretty low in my opinion, but it does match up with the panel lining and everything, so that kind of works. But lower than I would have thought. We get a double jointed pinless knee, so that much bend there at the knee, and that is pretty good. There, no calf swivel or boot swivel of any kind. Foot hinges, hey, let's see. The back of the heel is hitting the hinge. I don't really like that. Is there a way to avoid that? Yeah, you can avoid it. You just got to be careful, but you can get the foot hinge all the way down, going back up. And you get some up, not a whole lot, but there is, you know, a little bit. And then ankle pivot, pegals at the bottom of the feet. Wow, so the Destroyer has a hell of a lot more articulation than I would have thought, which is not too shabby. Okay, so for some side-by-side comparisons, you can see the 80th anniversary Thor with this new Eric Masterson Thor, and then Thunderstrike Eric Masterson right next to him. Size, build-wise, going to be pretty similar. Did he have the weird hand? See, this one has the regular hand that Thor has, too. Why is this one weird? That's just strange. Is it a big deal? Not at all. Am I making it seem like it is? Kinda. My bad. But yeah, there we go. Size-wise, they do kind of line up and match since it's, you know, the same person, Eric Masterson. So that works out quite well. Okay, so I don't have the Marvel Select Destroyer, and Hasbro has not given us, oh, you know what? I think I'm wrong. I think there was a Destroyer figure years ago. I'm trying to think if it was like a Marvel Classics line or if it was a true Marvel Legends figure by Toy Biz. It may have. So Hasbro didn't. Toy Biz, I believe, did. I don't have that figure. But the other closest thing that we did get from Hasbro was this 5 POA, 5 points of articulation, first Thor movie figure. Again, There's not a whole lot going on to this. A fair amount of paint, you know, shading and stuff going on there, but it is only 5 points of articulation, so you could just move the legs, move the arms at the shoulder, and then the head a little bit. I always wish that we got a Legends version of the Destroyer from the movie, an MCU version. That would be awesome. That would be ideal for me. But the comic version is really, really damn cool, and you can see size difference. And they're pretty similar, right? You can always kind of fudge it and make it work if that's what you wanted to do. But I always did want an MCU one. We never did get it, but I do have this as kind of a placeholder in my display that kind of works a little bit. But the comic version, I think, does look a little bit better with kind of a little bit more spiky, more details in the boots and in the feet and stuff like that. So, pretty cool. Okay, so that is my review of the 2-pack. You guys let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of this Thor versus the Destroyer 2-pack? I think the Destroyer figure is awesome, but I've heard a lot of great things about the Marvel Select version. I don't know that this Destroyer figure is better than that one because I don't have that one. I've never messed with it or handled it. If you have it, you let me know down in the comments below. How do you think the two compare, and what do you think of this Thor Eric Masterson figure? I don't know that it's necessarily a great improvement over the previous Thor figures that we've had, but hey, it gets us an Eric Masterson Thor if you wanted something in addition to your Thunderstrike figure. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit that join button to become a channel member and be a part of the MCU Collective. Your support is much appreciated. And as always, thank you for watching.